Hey, welcome into the NWGA football team FYN Al Smith Pickem show. Only two more Pickem shows left, guys, before playoffs.
That's wild.
Season is over almost.
It's crazy, man. It's supposed to be 90 degrees again this weekend. How about that?
I saw it 85 degrees on basically Halloween.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mother Nature.
Yeah, but then it's supposed to drop down in the 30s.
So, bring it on. Bring it
crazy,
on.
Man. Crazy, man. All right, guys. You guys are ready to hit this one? We'll talk a little playoff matchup. What we think the playoff scenarios look like as we go, and try to figure it out best we can. But we'll start with 7A, Carrollton Trojans at Campbell. Carrollton, a 35-point favorite.
Yeah. Carrollton is coasting to that region championship, and I think they coast in this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrollton's gonna coast right through this one and be looking for the playoffs here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that was a big second half they had last week against Westlake to wrap up the region championship. I think Juju puts on a show this Friday night. I think they're off next Friday night too. I think they're one of the teams that have a bye next Friday before heading into the playoffs. So, I like Carrollton big. Hillgrove at North Paulding. North Paulding, 26-point favorite. North Paulding still playing for the 2 or 3 seed in that region.
Yeah, they got a lot to play for, and I think they'll win this game by probably at least 3 touchdowns. So probably close to what the spread is there.
Yeah, North Paulding at home, battling for a home playoff spot. I think they win. I think they win big.
Yeah, I'll tell you how important a 2 seed is in that region is the 3 and 4 get to go to Carrollton and Westlake, two places you don't want to go to in the first round. Drop down to 6A, East Paulding, man. They got their 2 games out of the way between Langston Hughes and Douglas County, hosting New Manchester, as 23-point favorites.
Yeah, similar records when you look at both teams. But I think that East Paulding is a much better team. Just played a tougher schedule, putting up points. 200, nearly 260 points for East Paulding. I like East Paulding to win this one going away.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a big bounce back week for East Paulding. After some tough games, they get a home game, and I think they're going to roll.
Yeah, I think just looking at the playoff standings, I think they're 1 win away from clinching the 3 spot, which is huge, man, when you have Douglas and Langston Hughes in that region.
Yeah.
Little stat to throw out, man. They're the only team until last week to cover the spread every single week, win or lose. And I think they covered again this week. I think they beat New Manchester by 4 touchdowns. South Paulding, man. South Paulding got a big win last week in the region. They get to go to Langston Hughes and Douglas County back-to-back now. Langston Hughes, 35-point favorite.
Man, I tell you what, that's tough. Tough way to start, tough way to end. It's going to be a tough game for South Paulding, and I think Langston Hughes wins. Running clock in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, going to Langston Hughes, this time of the year, they're getting primed for the playoff run, and Langston Hughes is thinking state championship, as everybody knows. And, yeah, that's just a tough draw for South Paulding right now. I think Langston Hughes wins handily.
Yeah.
Langston's looking at the 2 seed right now, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, man. I hate to jump ahead, but week 2 at Barron Stadium is looking like a huge game. Langston Hughes and Rome Wolves.
That's a rematch from the state championship or the semifinal game last year.
Yep, the semifinal game. I think South Paulding still has a chance to hop in the playoffs when I was looking at it, but they need some help from some other teams. Noonan, I think, has the tiebreaker over them, so I think Noonan slides in there. But yeah, I think Langston Hughes gets them Friday night. A couple of teams looking for wins, man, in that region. Alexander at Paulding County, even.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you're exactly right when you say that. I think it's going to be an even game. It's going to be a close game. Um, you don't want to use the cliche things, like don't turn the ball over, that type of thing. But I'm telling you, that's what's going to be the difference here.
Yep.
The mistake that helps put points on the board for the other team is going to be, what makes or breaks the game. And I'm going to go. I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm gonna go with Paulding County in this one.
Yeah, I like it, Benton. I'm going with Paulding County for that reason and that reason alone. Home team is going to get the win.
Yep, exactly what I was going to say. I'm going to go with the home team. Flip a coin and go with the home team. Rome Wolves, surprisingly only a 13-point favorite at Creekview. Creekview, I think Cal Preps has them as the number 13th ranked team in 6A.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see the difference between a top ranked team and a 13th ranked team. A team that's rolling, and I know Creekview's sitting there at 7-2. Had some good wins that they hadn't seen Rome though, and I think Rome's going to win the game. I think that you're probably about right. I'm going to go with about 17, somewhere around in there. But I think Rome's going to pull away late.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Rome's going to win. But I'll say this: I think Creekview is a really good football team, and they're at home. And I think Rome hasn't been tested a whole lot lately. And I think Creekview may come out and test them a little bit early in the game. And so I think this game may be close early, and then Rome pulls away by 2 or 3 touchdowns late.
Yeah, I think the last time Rome was under 14-point favorite was against Sequoia, and we see how that one turned out. Sequoia is actually ranked 14th. I'm going to say it's going to be pretty much the same kind of score. I think Rome is just rolling right now. I think they're one of the hottest teams up here, and I think they win by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
They've gave up less than 60 on the whole year.
Yeah, and 33 of it was in that one game.
Yes, sir.
Dropping down to 5A, we'll talk about Villarica first before we get to the shootout over here. Villarica, 4-point favorites on the road at Maynard Jackson.
I'm gonna take Villarica in this one. Just gonna have a little too much for Maynard Jackson on this day.
Yeah, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I like Villarica. I know they've got a tough schedule, and their record probably isn't what they wish it was. But I'm gonna go with Villarica right here.
Yeah, I think the Wildcats need one more win to clinch a playoff spot. They're going to end up getting a 3 or 4 seed in that region. I think they do it this Friday night at Maynard Jackson. All right, the big region here, 7-5A. Dalton at Cartersville for the region title. Cartersville is a 14-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Catamount fans a favor and pick the Hurricanes at home. I'm thinking that it's going to be a real close game, probably a 1-score game late. I'll take Cartersville. So everybody knows who to pick now.
Yeah, man, I think this game is going to be a really good football game. Dalton's riding high. It's a big game for the region championship. I like Dalton a lot, and I'm going to pick Cartersville by a slim margin at home.
Yeah, I saw a cool stat this week, man. Dalton is the only team that we cover that is 3-0 as an underdog this year. Got a chance to make it 4-0 this Friday night. Like I said,
I was going to say, shout out to those guys up there too. I mean, we've been hearing from Dalton fans since our preseason Pickem show that they were going to be tough to beat, and they have been.
Yep. That they have the talent to hang with Cartersville Friday night, obviously. But you got to give Cartersville the edge at home. I'm gonna go with the Canes, like you guys said. It's gonna be closer than 14, I believe. It's gonna come right down to the last of the fourth quarter, which seems like the way Cartersville likes to win games this year. The other one, man, the battle for a playoff spot, really. Calhoun at Cass. Calhoun is a 12-point favorite.
With the game being at Cass, that makes it interesting. Cass can score points. Cass has a good bit of talent on that. Undefeated at home this year. I think something tells me to take the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets are just a little bit better, and I think Calhoun wins probably about that 10-point mark.
Yeah, I kind of agree, Benton. I just, I like Cass. They're at home. This is for a playoff spot. I think they're going to play inspired. I just think Calhoun gets them in the end, but I think it's a close ball game.
Yeah, Paul, I was telling Bit before you came on, man, one of the stats I looked at this week was if Dalton wins and Cass wins Friday night, guess who is the team that's left out of the playoffs? Calhoun. And we probably haven't seen that since Benton was in diapers. He probably was drinking a bottle last time Calhoun missed the playoffs.
I would be interested to see that. I would be interested to find out when the last year they
23 years, 23 straight playoff appearances.
Okay.
So yeah, but I give Calhoun the edge in this one. And as far as playoffs go, if Cartersville wins and Calhoun wins, it goes Cartersville, Calhoun, Hiram, Dalton will be your four. And Cass will be the odd man out. But this next game here, the Woodland Wildcats, man, they can shake it all up with an upset of Hiram this weekend. Hiram, 29-point favorites.
Yeah, I like Hiram in this one. I don't see any upset in this particular game.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Hiram gets the win, and I think that spread is probably fairly close to being right on.
Yeah, Hiram offense is rolling this year, man. They're going to be a tough outcome playoff time. As a 3 seed, it looks like right now. They're probably going to go to KL first round. That'll be a heck of a battle. Drop down to 4A Central. They have a chance to clinch the region title this Friday night at Northwest Whitfield. Central, 16-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Central gets it done, and I know it's at Northwest, and Northwest has got a pretty good team. I just think athletically, Central is going to be a little bit much for them, and I think they probably cover the spread, even though it's on the road.
I agree. Central's rolling, and I think they're going to continue to roll this week.
Yeah, I like Central. A couple of touchdowns to clinch that 7-4A title. Huge game in 7-4A this Friday night, especially for Sonoraville. This is a must-win game for the Phoenix if they want to make the playoffs. Heritage at Sonoraville, coin flip.
Yeah, Heritage got the win a little unexpectedly last week. They're riding a little momentum. Sonoraville has been kind of a roller coaster this year. I've seen them play really well and then, kind of shock you at times. Something tells me to pick Heritage here in a close one on the road at the Furnace.
Yeah, this is truly, in my opinion, this is an even game. This is a coin toss football game, in my opinion. And Benton hit the nail on the head there with, Sonoraville has looked really good at times, but not so much at other times. This is one I've wrestled back and forth with since I started looking at the schedule, and I kind of want to take Heritage, but I think I'm going to pick Sonoraville at home in a super close game.
Yeah, I'm just the opposite of you, Paul, man. The more I looked at it, I want to take Sonoraville. Jackson paid at home. battling for their playoff lives. I know they're going to give it everything they got, man. Talented team. But for some reason, man, I lean towards Heritage. I'm going to take Heritage in a close one. And if that works out, if Heritage wins that game, that locks up the 4 playoff spots for 7-4A. Speaking of 7-4A, Cedartown at Southeast Whitfield. Cedartown, 35-point favorites.
Yeah, Cedartown should be the 2 seed. Pretty easy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Cedartown. Cedartown gets a big win Friday night.
Yeah, I think we talked about this earlier this week. I think Cedartown's probably one of the – it's kind of hard to say overlooked teams that we cover, but I think they got off to a bad start. You know, we kind of put them on the back burner, but, I mean, I think they're playing well. I mean, when you go back and look at the teams they lost to, I mean, Central, and they beat Dalton. I think they're ready for playoffs. Yeah,
as far as obviously not, necessarily head to head because they're different size schools, different regions, but Cedartown and Dade, I kind of put in the same category this year. Played really tough schedules, especially early on, and I think both of those teams are really good football teams. Who, if you look at their record, you might think, what's going on here? But yeah, I think both of those teams are really good football teams.
Yeah, when you go back to week 1 and look at the fact that Cedartown held Rockmart to 12 points, man, that's pretty impressive. Now, I mean, looking back, the 6th 3A championship, Bremen at Adairsville. Adairsville is a touchdown favorite.
I don't know, but something in me has been telling me to pick a Blue Devil in this game, but I just think that Adairsville's going to have a little too much at home. I think it's going to be a really close game, and me personally, I wouldn't be shocked if Bremen won the game, but I'm going to take Adairsville in a close one.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if Bremen won the football game. But I'm going to take Adairsville because Adairsville's at home, and Bremen has not been very good on the road this year. Not saying they can't be this Friday night, but so far this year they haven't proven that they can be. So I'm going to go with Adairsville.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty good games this year, but for some reason, this game Friday night is probably the one I'm most excited about seeing in person. I've been hyped up all week, man. I'm ready for Friday night. Bremen and Adairsville, going to be a great game. Knockdown, drag out for sure. I got to pick somebody though, right? Man, I'm going with the Tigers at home. Back-to-back region champions. First time in 22 years for the Tigers if they can pull this one out. Lafayette at Coahulla Creek. Coahulla Creek is an 8-point favorite.
Yeah, I mean we've seen before. I mean Coahulla Creek, they tend to pull these close games off. Lafayette has a pretty darn good defense, and they're able to move the ball on offense. But I'm going to take the Creek to rise up at home. I like the Creek.
I'm going to go with the upset pick of the week for me right here.
Sorry, I'm slow to the button.
Yeah, I like Lafayette in this one, and no disrespect to Coahulla Creek. I think Lafayette's going to get it done, and Lafayette is one of those teams that they've got a pretty good running game. They got a good running back, and I think they're going to be able to possess the football. And I think they're going to go over there and get a W in a close game.
Yeah, I saw a post this week, man, that was showing all the playoff possibilities in 6 AAA, and Lafayette and Ringgold are still possible playoff teams, depending on what happens this Friday night. Gordon Lee has to beat Ridgeland. Coahulla Creek has to beat Lafayette, or it's just a toss-up. So I hope Paul's got room on the bandwagon for me, man, because I'm gonna slide him over and I'm gonna jump on the Rambler bandwagon. Yeah, Little Fayette, a great defensive team so far this year. I think they get it done Friday night. Gordon Lee on the road at Ridgeland. Gordon Lee, 15-point favorites.
You know, I like Gordon Lee to go up to Ridgeland, their next door neighbor, and get a victory here.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've talked about it all year long. You know, Gordon Lee's a year or two away from being a really, really good football team. But I think they go to Ridgeland this weekend, and I think they get a win. But I think it might be a little closer than what some people might expect.
Yeah, this is one of those games. Man, my gut feeling wanted to take the Panthers. You know, I've been waiting for the Panthers to break out all season. They played well at home. I just think Gordon Lee might be a little too tough for them in the long run. I think it's going to be closer than 15, but I'll go with the Trojans. LFO at Ringgold. Ringgold, a 23-point favorite.
Yeah, I like Ringgold in this one, but I think it's going to be closer than the 23 points. I think, you know, 2 touchdowns to 17. I think Ringgold gets the win, but LFO is going to hang in there and play tough.
Yeah, you know, Ringgold at home, it hasn't quite been the season that Ringgold wanted. You know, LFO has been playing better football this year, like what they're doing up there. I think Ringgold's got a couple guys back healthy, if I'm not mistaken, that had missed a couple games. So I'm going to take Ringgold at home.
Yeah, I heard on our show last Friday night, somebody texted in and said that the Tigers are healthy again. Hayden Freeze is back. Starting quarterback's back. I think that helps out the Tigers. I think they win probably a little closer than 23. Keep their playoff hopes alive. Pickens County heading over to White County. White County, a 29-point favorite.
Yeah, I like White County in this game. I think Pickens has been up and down, kind of, you know, not had the season that they would want. White County's a pretty strong team. I think White County gets it done pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Pickens made a big run last year, you know, going on a winning streak, I believe, at the end of the year. Got their way into the playoffs, and I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think White County gets it done.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see how White County responds after that 4 overtime game loss last week to Lumpkin.
Yeah.
They battled it out. I think Pickens loses this one, but I think it's closer than 29. Gordon Central on the road at Model. Model, a 35-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Model puts enough points on the board and probably shuts out Gordon Central with that good Model defense on the blue turf over in Shannon.
Yeah, you know, that Model defense is pretty tough. I think Model wins this one pretty handily.
Yeah, Model locked up that 3 seed last week, losing that game to North Murray in the last 40 seconds. I think they come out and play well this Friday night. I like Model. Haralson County on the road at Murray County. A must-win game for Haralson County if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive.
I think Haralson wins this one at Murray. I think it's going to be a real physical game. Could be a low-scoring game, but I think Haralson wins by a few touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree, Ben. Physical football game, you know, on the road at Murray County, but I'm going to go with Haralson with a defensive win. They're going to win this one with defense.
Yeah, I think Haralson's another one of those teams that played a tough non-region schedule to start the year. It kind of flew under the radar. Played everybody tough in their region so far. I think they're going up to Murray County knowing this is a game they must win. I'm going to go with the Rebels, a couple of scores. Sets up a huge game next Friday night against Fannin for that 4th playoff spot.
Yeah.
And speaking of Fannin, they're on the road at Rockmart. Rockmart, 29-point favorite.
Yeah, and I'm going to take Rockmart, and I think that it's going to be. Fannon's not going to give it to him, but I think Rockmart's just going to go and take it a little bit there. So I'd take Rockmart by probably 2 or 3 touchdowns at least.
Oh yeah. Fannon's going to fight hard. We know who they are and how hard those guys play, and they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder and a good game plan. But Rockmart's just going to be too talented.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if any games that got moved to tomorrow night. It says Model Gordon Central and Fannin Rockmart are Thursday night games. I might have to ride down to Rockmart then if that's
Okay. Yeah.
if that's the case. Give me a couple of games this week. But yeah, Rockmart is one of those teams with Bowden, Rome, Carrollton. I think are just hitting on a different cylinder right now, late in the season. I know they're looking for a competitive game. They've kind of had some, what to say, cupcakes, I guess you could say, the last couple of weeks. I think this game will be a lot closer than what they have played, but yeah, I like Rockmart by 4 touchdowns at least. All right, guys, move down to 7A, D1. Still a lot to hash out here. Trine on the road at Armurchie. Trine 4 touchdown favorites.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think Armurchie's physical and they'll hang in there for a little bit, but I think Trine just they'll move the ball probably through there and on the ground, and just going to be too much for Armurchie. I don't know if Armurchie's going to do much on offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think Trine is. I don't think the players and coaching staff are looking past this game to obviously the game they have next week, but I do think that Trine's just going to be too much, and I think that spread's about right. I would think the 35-7 range probably would be pretty close for this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I see this game going. Like I said, I don't think Trine will look past them. But I think if Trine gets a pretty good lead, I think they'll try to stay healthy for the following Friday night. If they get up 21, 28 points early, I think they'll take their foot off the gas a little bit, maybe get some of the young guys in. I like that score, 35-7. Coosa at Chattooga, even spread.
Yeah, I think it's 2 teams that need a little positive momentum going into the end of the season, going into next year. I've watched Chattooga a lot. I've watched some of Coosa, seen comparable games, comparable scores, and I think Chattooga's got a little bit more on offense, can move the ball. We'll see what Coosa can do on the ground game. Because that's kind of been the Achilles heel of Chattooga's defense, been stopping the run. So it could be a low scoring game, could be a high scoring game. I'm not sure, but I think I'll take the Indians to win at home.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Coosa, but I know it's Chattooga's last game of the year. They've got that bye week, week 12 next week. So last game of the year at home, senior night. I'm going with Chattooga.
Yeah. I know I've talked to you guys about it off camera before, and what Chattooga did in that Coahulla Creek game, if they can just bottle that up, man, I think they had a pretty good season. I think they're going to do it this Friday night. I like Chattooga by probably a couple of scores.
Yep.
Dade County at Pepperell, man, huge game for Dade County. If Dade County can win this one, I think they clinch a playoff spot. Kind of sets the field. If Dade loses this game, they'll be forced to play a win-all game next Friday night against our Armurchie Indians at Magic Morgan. Pepperell 6-point favorite.
I'm not sure if I've ever had a dragon on my side, so I'll go with the Wolverines. I think a little too physical. They're gonna run it right at them, and I think they're gonna be pretty successful with the running back there, and defensively, Dade's pretty good as well. They tackle well, and they fly to the football. So I know it's at Pepperell. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to give Dade the edge, and they'll be possibly at home in the playoffs if they get this victory.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities for the 1 through 4 teams in this region still. I mean, there are teams that could finish as high as 1-4 or 2-4 or 2 and out. And so this is a huge game. And I know Pepperell's at home, but I also know Pepperell was a little banged up in the second half last week against Trine. And I don't know the status of those guys. And I think Dade County wins this one. I think they go down to Lindale, and I think Dade gets the win.
Yeah, I think Dade County is going down there knowing if they win the next 2 weeks, they get a home playoff game, like third in school history. Only this, and, 2 of them have been in the last 3 years under Coach Poston.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going down there with something to play for. Pepperell's playing for something too, obviously, but yeah, I'm gonna take Dade in a super close game, 21-14.
Yep.
Battle for a home playoff game here down in Heard County. Temple, 6-point favorites on the road at Heard.
Yeah, I like what Heard has done lately, and I like Heard to win this one in an extremely close game, and get a little bit higher seed.
Yeah, this is a tight game too, in my opinion. Temple was playing really well and got off to a really good start early in the season, and Heard kind of the opposite. Based off, some tough non-region scheduling or whatever, they got off to a rough start, and they've been playing really good football as of late. And so I'm going to go with Heard for 2 reasons. They've been playing really good football lately, and they're at home. But I think it's going to be a really good football game.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a trifecta. I'm gonna go with Heard County also. For all the reasons you guys just said, Heard's playing well. Temple's been kind of quiet over the last month. I know they had a couple of bye weeks thrown in there, and but yeah, I'm gonna go with Heard. Grab that number 2 spot. Here's a game that I might as well say what it is. It's for the number 2 spot. I know if Mount Zion wins this one, they still have a chance to beat Bowden for the region championship, but. Yeah, this is the 2 spot. Mount Zion at Christian Heritage. Christian Heritage, 17-point favorite.
Yeah, it's at Christian Heritage. I've only been there once to watch a game, and I thought it was a nice little environment there, and it'll probably be as loud as they can get it with the crowd that they'll have. They got good support there, and they're gonna throw the ball around. It sounds like lately they've been running the quarterback a little more, and I think that's going to be the key. I don't think Mount Zion's going to be able to stop that. So I'll take Christian Heritage by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Christian Heritage at home. Mount Zion is they're one of those teams that I think is a pretty good football team, but they haven't had the results they wanted this year. And I'm just going to go with Christian Heritage at home.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Ben. I know when we went up there and saw him preseason, man, I know one of the things that we took away, one of the things you mentioned was the quarterback need to run more.
Mm-hmm.
Kid's huge. Got Carter Triplett. I think he's been putting it on the ground a lot more recently. He had 6 touchdowns this past Friday night, 3 in the air, 3 on the ground. I think it's going to be tough for Mount Zion to stop. I like Christian Heritage at home. Wrap up that number 2 seed. All right, fellas. One more Pickem show to go, and then the regular season is over.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy to me. Just crazy.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll be back Friday night. Like I said, somebody said there's some games on Thursday night. I'll have to investigate, see what games are going on Thursday night. Everybody get out this weekend, see a game, and we'll be back with you Friday night at 11 o'clock.
All righty.